A Book of Sonnets. By Billy McBride. Copyright 2023, by William McBride. All rights reserved. 1. Angel Nietzsche began a boy. In the dark void of trembling spheres. A thunder in the shadows, see his afterlife clears. New and merry like a hog palm toy. A devil never discovered the dollar's dark. For Billy's wallet was stitched close. Only one memory, peace, my pleasure grows. Born to be banished to a wild mallard park. Certain romantics' letters form my shout. Ere a merry win, I care more all is done. An American rose and a couple are one. Broad no more such that the three sang out. Calling him God, and everyone kiss. Open, key, all but the autumn there is. Angel Donna with me. 2. The land down under, the waif plows. Just know thyself and say the way. We are all late, and I miss the day. Mary, it is new, the preacher vows. But poor Reddleman with his bushy eyes. To master the chariot feels the hail. Of the gold palm of experience prevail. In the end position where a foe sleeps wise. I lost my curves, too much coleslaw. An elliptical face leaves some change. I'm lost in water, worn on the range. Leaving the nation to find a key's claw. Poisoned not by foes, gravity's reign. Has wind, first month, to an infinite gain. Angel ora ti ferredo with me. 4. Another Paris blows out the day. Reclining by Juliet, our friend stands still. Alone in the country, a passage uphill. On a journey to Severn with strange last words to say. Vanity is our calling, so we come by the leaves. And pluck our fruit, a fragment of a skip. I knew the finale, a voice to word, my lip. Presence teeth that all people have poppies. And everybody steps when sallies are blown. The celestial temple and a manna to snatch. Like a lily for a lady, the pretty monarch catch. In a westward wing, in suffrage alone. They cannot fire my lord wandering the lilies. On alpine peaks borrowing this knowledge of Billy's. Angel ora ti ferredo with me. 5. Once in the folly, dancing side to side. One was paradised and made a prince. Heaven is my holiday, a light pink tints. There's not enough peace, fair Isabella tried. It's lost for sure in the couch I won. Were that the end of a logic to learn? For a reason to read a few more stars had burned. Sung asleep by lawyers swooping in for fun. Father blew it again, provoked an empire. Johnny is now lost in unfortunate rant. No swan formations, the hunted heart can't be saved by a night as the crab's eyes fire. Subjection to his deathless uppercuts. To duck the group till a blank letter shuts. Angel Bertha with me. 6. Mary's always the obscurest, Johnny be brave. Pray, be alone with your grandmar. Methinketh of defense, determined, come far. With stout ideas, so me in my grave. Cross out that threshold in less time lost. Cut up the letters and then resweep. The mob of memories that dagger the deep. Hours on a field where Troilus bossed. Ambiguous times and swansong appalls. Father has his reasons, and they almost shine. In colors endlessly, sir, you have a face fine. A lord of the void with your anxious airballs. With patience in my corner, I made a dare. To believe it was dark in that dragon's robbed lair. Angel honey with me. 7. In birdie language, Babylon's own muse. Now icing on the world, by figures flies. Fanatic flags, yet when sometimes grass dies. Egyptian raindrops nod the end, they lose their necessary storm, and my twin tears. For Boaz inside his grave decrease my day. First sun chrysanthemums within the spray. The morning iris my brown mitten nears. I do a task that liberates since when. A sweetheart cries, though Jessamine is doomed. To be unpicked by him for whom she bloomed. There's ice cream for my lady, feast again. Humanity is pudding, purple yam. Our sissy sensibility and jam. Angel Ariel with me. Silly poem. My wisdom and my reading stall. When the thousand contradictions all are questioned when they call. And, my ended tale is remembered well. It was an immortal tale to tell. It was of a sound that patience makes so. Of a time which thousands could know. And so their saintly hope, like bread, is had for a savior by each head. Immortality is the home wherein I sit. where a windy yard stretches out. Across the leaves and sands which fit. They're chanting notes that hold or shout. Coming in the late time on my course. To the heart and its force. With my imagination to which all sing. Which has cost them everything. Since they wore to catch up again. To me for each some perpetual gain. Angel honey with me. Flight. By the rich moon watching over lands. I weigh the wind within my hands. The moon is my match. And the day's atmospheres are felt and catch. Me filling up with my long sleep. Strange and spotty, whose dark peep is for that distant door from which I keep. Then a brown light shines upon me. As if dawn must be swept away. So will I gulf its coast through day. Where an ocean's top, beheld of sea, fills the place with gorgeousness. This present waves on without boorishness. Whose dim colors escape the lawn. As I break through sleep at dawn. Angel Kelly with me. Birds. Before starting, their walking was had. And the purpose of it was to make them mad. By the new spring it had made. In those languages written in the shade. Where flying hopes went on their way. Before diamond light stars saved the day. Which cared to pause, as I for a friend. From flying hopes found without end. What it took was a raining in the park. As though a thought owed back became dark. It cared to rain, and we were at once in its test. Yet their work is nigh, and before they rest. Upon this end in a wilderness. Where fortune loves a speech of happiness. In periods of dust, they must make their dive. Whenever their power comes alive. Angel Thrikebot with me. Chess games. When I am not already versed. In sweet rationality as I'm cursed. A slave and bitter about some pawn. The despair is evil until it's gone. Through the friendly facts, I'm annoyed. And I've just begun, and this is destroyed. In its beginning and by its bent. If by staying at home content. The last place is entered in a swarm. A pad of safety that can warm. And interest wisdom. I understand. The bitter bitterness to demand. Riches from this night. Not as obscure as the topmost light. Of space, while slavery frowns upon me. And the victory of a health gently. I head unto an elegance. Withers in that last place with my trance. And as the blueness is hated that annoyed. Before it has ever been destroyed. That the nonsense of my heart once mild. Would go there again into its wild. Angel Jennifer with me. Sonnet 10. A master over the water bending life across. The present portrait sorrow of some time. The catastrophe death, no death of it to climb. As desire to tolerate wages working for a boss. False waters in waves are blowing over. They in America live, their jellies each make. For a lady by a tree whose fine color I'll take. To be for eternal joys with her forever lover. They are virtuous and elegant together. Like meek trees that need to be pretty in winds. In finale of being there with their flaky minds. After other springs into summer lively weather. Lovers' tales make out the youth of each giver. Like your dear face which questions this river. Angel Elaine with me. A determined traveler. The road stretches far, far away, and the dew has dropped its moist lay. Upon the grass. Fulsome leaves. Flutter in upright as trees. And the serious seasonal fate. Happens with its purpose great. Once again, and with a heavy fall. Which will unfold what could be all. In flood and wind that does now shake. The dropping leaves the trees did make. Which blow away over the steady dew. Over the straight road continuing so far true. Upon its fate-like path. And I present myself a traveler to go by. In wandering with a point thus out to go. Farther into the dimming snow. Until I find my way beyond the gloom. Back to my home and warmer room. Angel Grouchy with me. Sonnet. Your romantic eyes are sad but true. They have a cloudy rubble to chant love. Their rainy tears would heaven move. And I find them beat when Father rebukes you. Nothing is born but that is taken by the storm. If God is not lost in a piece of tomorrow. Out from the pause night of our sorrow. Something after death will take its form. Then bad fortune changes and we revere a plot. That life has justice yet, though its road dislikes. All of our odd throng who, riding our bikes. Across its thoroughfare, badly evade it not. But the best satisfies after an earthly life. Which goes on, even to slander our past strife. Angel Diana with me. More waves. These mountains at dawn have an easy shine. They salt the soul's revolt with their shoots. Against time and brine. A white butterfly refutes the sea's belly, being low. While wave talkers bugle across a threshold. And build a drama up in order to go on with their thoughts sacrilegious and bold. Their wet truths cross each beauty. Together upon a vacationed way. Wherefore with a pregnant box you gently have watched that sandy road all the day. You say that you miss being committed to justice. A sleepy people boundless. Red is a world of such being that rests in the gray of a scholar's crystal architectural day. Toys not idle are what you bring to experience the water and check your stay with the objects around you this rainy spring. Angel honey with me. Sonnet. No sliver of the danger in a friendly punch. No sliver of the danger with summer drinks. And, it lost its banality, a summer thinks of punch, the drink with my friend at lunch. In luscious vulnerability, I wait and deflate. I wait and deflate at curfew aglaze. Over dimpled surfaces by my red dragon craze. Which both cool friends and dragons estimate. From manicured afternoon into tribal midnight, drinking with a friend, I'll dream of what I wrote. And I'm as hungry as even a billy goat. For some whispering wisdom to have us tight. There's the auburn dragon that covers the sky. In a gloss over school, but I don't know why. Angel Jaffa with me. Sonnet. The coming hawks, the coming hawks. Fluttering in the sky, microchipped. Over tan nostalgias, their flowing is clipped. The flow is clipped like stout beanstalks. The coming hawks, twisting prickly. Over after school stuccos, the hawks are come. Balanced in a shell to their treetop home. Over tan nostalgias which to us look sickly. Where fishers dangled for many a catch. Upon the pond blades they sit and stare. At the fluttering skies and the wet air. And the plans which their plans did hatch. So they hatch and dangle the thin spun phrases. Over country lakes rushing for bigger praises. Angel Shay with me. Already night, try and dawn. Going a space beyond. For my work was best. I knew it was me who had me dawned. To musical after another rest. In its flavors again. Whispering was the project. A techne to charm them then. Again unsatisfied to have had to reject. Since it was unrevealed by my aim. My focused eye upon the hope. Not your hope the same. A weight that nature would now be ope. To return our juxtaposition into one. With what would not be said. Smiles meaning I am not alone. And the supporting visual system's bed. I will know certainty even better than strife. As I have learned to mix it upon the table. Or renounce its mixture for life. Which cannot but be irresistibly stable. When harmony would almost be my force. To take robotics and go forth and go. To look, and that would be to act on course. To be sounded simpler below. But if nature would today. Then there are readers then to blame. Changing what all I say. For that laughter which normally came. To them with both quickness and zeal. And the thought that it would be. Either a story or be made real. If only I could fire experimentally. Above my returned head for this light. Which might end already the night. Angel Amy with me. You want the code you already won. The mood was chill on the bed. Echoes in the twilight. Haunted me sadly, what you said. Directions out of a feeling of might. But take their outward turn and sit. It was still a cold climb. The suppose now whenever you asked it. And those bits relaxed of time. 'Tis time to ask that I be worn. Like a buckle as to be fit. Ask, asked, asking, they were born. So to lose, so why did I lose it? Nobody ever told me how to write. What I needed to say. The phrases were for definition tonight. Hearken closer and ask them today. Ask those words that an idea be caught. Listen not to every sound. And in due time when listening not. Don't look back if you can make ground. As it is agreed by engagement lest. That to drop the mistaking please. Of a memory defined what for memory best. Is outlined by what you wanted from trees. Because they were in nature. And you are not and I am not, but in its goal. And if the soul proves itself mature. And is therefore a bit of the whole. Thus let it be daringly said. Its support was now for you and me. The latter must not be ignored as dead. That support was its support, is and will be. Angel ora ora ti ferredo with me. 11. The road to paradise upon the browning grass is faced by the sickness of an inevitable mind. The truth be luck, for outward its beautiful kind is what society mars, its most dynamic pass. Is one monumental fall, a creation too late. Around each night circled. We hated every plot. Prouder than children, of the blow, called not to inveigle the highest, seeing miracles great. But left afire and mixed in the black. Our sounds must last in bodies now light. Who will never solve nature, weaker when right. Shadowing anonymous for success we lack. When we dared to reason all by a new combat. Dazzled here in our soul's age, but not by chat. Angel Teresa with me. 12. God during night has his innocent cast. Has power to condemn, to make poems die. Leaving them lost within their blood to cry. Devil and poet together in their cycles last, with Western knowledge, with memory blocked. Bad about the wisdom and a freedom forgot. To bug by poetry, a bored fish has got. Damnation to bump into which he's locked. Just one more ship trusting this is the way. No revolutionary satisfied, here is the law. In an oak I carve, to stomach the awe. A love from heaven which bleeds into day. To the angelic country with a necessary book. In his navy flippers young grandpa Nanio took. Angel Jaffa with me. 13. Yes to the life which needs be born. Better than a bubble dumped off the stage. That brings us to tears, our keen dark rage. Eternally severe is still the most forlorn. Getting on the road through a difficult blue. I'm not going to face just one fiction. Which seems to have shadowed in a friction. Which will wound me later, and maybe you. Save your contemplation for those wars of gold. Which you say are evil while nothing's in the rift. That verse is known being real to shift. A plot burnt away because the plot was old. Be truthful, men, overcome your honor. That's better than a bubble which is a goner. 14. It was no task to have just that golden piece. To place the bowl right here as the news goes. With a small goodness that sometimes shows. One more noise to whisper, thanks for my ease. I emptied into it what must ballast the day. Obeying the thunder of my dominant thought. Catastrophic lightning has spit before my lot. In a weak country where my coarse hands pray. I'm set to leave it because this scholar bleeds. For life to be gentler whose tale's not done. My happy opinion is that it's not so fun. Whenever with great folly no one else reads. How my glory is a pleasure that I must forgive. Those who left this weak country where I live. Angel Valerie with me. 15. Melons, stamens and you high forward. The ivy, the odds and, ow, the wiggles. Gnomes, offers and wobbles and tickles. Which yesterday were woofed are now assured. 'Twas by a suing with those doubtful dimes. The loot highs the pills abiding for me. The pills on the countertop, worth this textually. Enabling a guessing, and for further on times. Now do waddle the demise and scatter a sedge. That's vague eftsoons with watery bits. Jammed in the mist where a sassy stool sits. A jewel, a city suddenly tucked to the edge. And with gigabytes none, donuts and fun. There's no way pebbly thumps will ever be done. Angel Elaine with me. 16. To the rear, tush, in cameos nearing. Collars of suits, and vibrating gifts. Hidden didactics that Mr. Huck lifts. Like the nails, wow, hives, tarts clearing, the annual necking, the puffs are fanned. Hints in the leather, lubbers and mavens. Grandams, marsupials, fowls, vipers, ravens. And a ton of tigers, ample studs on the sand. And truly aerials, oh, and worn down taffy. The dinging of a folio, the thinned out tin. For meowing mouths, danishes, molds in. And pernicious adders, and above, tacos laffy. Behold the dome, and think of my hair. Soaking, alarming, amorous when bare. Angel Diana with me. 17. I doubt it is funny, not to heed what fizzles. Galactic raptures and the puddle patches. The seeds, the dents, a bland mist catches. Muffled, really as in malts a pattern sizzles. That gorse heckling, wrangles with a rhyme. A jaunting thrown round, singing with balloons. Those fussy lads, the lake the laboratory ruins. To permeate a tad, raffles glitching on time. Berries for diets, the skills of the gax. A vision of rockets, managed, finally found. Dolby tapping the near and fabulous ground. Of the dulce I'm nascent, soapy kids' backs. The lessons for the dolphins, or for a petty cow. That pivots on the turf, croaking haze at thou. Angel Thrikebot with me. 18. Parked haphazardly, the drivers dash. Like daddy moths and whining ponies. To grapple with fawns, tennis session phonies. Suckering apothums, junky widgets flash. For their fixed misalignment, hexagonal, heck. Miserable rovers are just jousting for gifts. A tough cotton or tipple sewing lifts. Over the nadir hovering, tabs, heights to check. And of basil, cauliflower rapports must bother. The vibratory habits of rebellious bossing. Draconian, lollipops, marvels, waffles glossing. And birth offerings to pat some lion or otter. Floss and bite, there are tillers who scoop. And they make it weary in their daffodil droop. Angel Aura with me. 19. The cackling hurts the pulse of a kiss. To show the finality over inky rugs. Nudity leaping, rough tears for slugs. In raspberry verve the blazing shoes miss. I doubt it's lavender but what a dent. Midges on the yams and the yak on the map. The meaning of legs, linked risers slap. Slides and shacks, sauntering gibbons scent. To sift through the detainment, jays in a pit. Little wonders of a mustard sadness. Hound the vast and a ferocious gal's gladness. Fickle rolling, thirsty, who fights for it? For witty rapscallions and a rain for the plants. Pigeons on the birch and a ton of rock ants. Angel Kelly with me. 20. The Liberty Keg is a stuff for fathers. Whom I know, literally, are motley champs. Rid of melons, a dawning welkin lamps. Waffles are tantamount, a nipped raffle bothers. A hopeful preppy like gothic marvels. Historic homies and falcons robbed. Of their habits to rise or wacky spices slobbed. Wrecked steaks, a mortal thickness baubles. Those conniving mouths of maple babies. Sobriety, tush, the thickness of a hand. Thermally is able to have fancy padding planned. For golfing scamps, mousy hippie rabies. The pebbles on the maps, and dope wiffle balls. Beget the cinders that some bare nest stalls. Angel Libby with me. 21. I tango with a post and suffer the tab. To tag the peg with a rebus on track. Hallway pairs split those walls, alack. There are tons of nips, cells and scenes to blab. This plagued stubble that is mostly a beer. Changed into a coffin. Sick of being a fan. Britain is floppy, these bubbles, oh man. Gears are figured out, a snowy-fisted steer. Beckon to move to hush the fallen. Reacting to the gables, to the tossed-up gables. A buffer of hills, mobs scat to stables. Kelp, Rattachie, bears cry, walled in. The poor bam utmost, the cops on lands. Gelatin, shrubs and the sunflower wands. Angel Aura Aura Tiferedo. 22. Spatial lambs, seeping and splashing. In lassos mad, beetles and boars. The pest and socks plus samples of floors. For poppies, peckings and cheddar stashing. A cobblestone shuffle of dummy vans. For seeds, please, a cognitive course. Mass slagging, the stuttering hearse. Tours, governments, ladders and fans. The fans placated and families relieved. By the promised gap that endeavors pawed. Locals heaving up, with bleak ghosts awed. Whose spells had brimmed all locals bereaved. To swap bafflements, puffy speckled. By evolutionary struts, goals, juries freckled. Angel Elaine with me. 23. The fisher bides we draw up the law. When reality is shot in its mighty form. Of which a fold in the rhythm is not the norm. Like the dust sacks I spread in a dome for awe. Roll the team out, these stars are on par. I fiddle with crabs on the rocks collecting. Causing laughter by my rent gear selecting. First dragged into that rash costume bar. And, hiding in motion, I'm in some mist. With my last language, the feasible dome. To run my task with microphone cables home. Into a moss of millions, whose wacky core fist has a dalliance of wiggles, the muck of creeds. To placate the rabblement, grating tact by needs. Angel Grouchy with me. 24. A star drops over doorways and reefs. Spoofed by the dross, strollers and smirks. The dawn sits up, a melting sustenance works. My poor legs over rocks, shrubs and deeps. With minimal welcomes as Monday's feed. Wrought by fidgeting, arresting fibs. The mafia, lollipops, staples, cobras, bibs. The lifting pebbles, ghostly drapes, and I read. In those reared buds of familiar gas. Of course the megaphones and camels crashing. Through doorways, reefs, jackals stashing. Another creature starts its dappled hen pass. With an awesome crackling of freckled lacquers. The tug of vacations, the lid, stem crackers. Angel ora tifaredo with me. Jackal stash. The staples and the lollipop. Are what I fib about. The stars drop. But the mafia freckles, I pout. The lacquers are in a tug. Who is boss? Of this dawn that sits up here? Spoofed by the dross. Of course because it is clear. Of the megaphones for some. Through the doorway. It is the minimal welcome. Of another Monday. Stars drop and doorways dense. Or reefs light. And their melting sustenance. Is caught lifting the pebbles without might. Into the ghostly drapes that feature. Upon vacation cracking its lid of glass. And stem. Another creature. Starts upon its dappled hen pass. And in those reared buds smashing. As if with an awesome cackling caught. It is the camels who are crashing. Feeding is wrought. By fighting, arresting. As all the strollers, smirking jocks. By some poor legs and jesting. And over the rocks. Shrubs and steeps to get free. When jackals stash me. Above the reefs above the sea, angel honey with me. Gosh, it is done. Gosh, it is done. These crass dots. Pry into a macro run. Into sad bland spots. Arrow-sized bents. Born to mend the ground. Are by puffy tents. That pull a score down. There are the thick chimes. Caring to clack. Democracy, punters, climbs. Limes, hugs and a sack. An apple brew falls. Up to a local host. And rag dolls. Are permanent bits at most. We stampede at noon. Into a slight heap. While katydids in Memphis soon. With fragmented geese leap. Into glory toss your cup. The Bible is your sunshine. The best who stack it up. Roam the rocks without wine. Weave, abide. To the goalie. Next you slide. Holy moly. Angel honey with me. 25. For more powder whistling, you start to prep. Sheesh, the verdure, the effects of drapes. Have taught a thespian, a human nose shapes. A sediment ramp to the shed in dash step. Mangling the map, catch her as she dips. Wispy, luxurious where stagger the stags. In the wash of minions, a grease bath sags. Midway binding a social diffidence to lips. I bet on the bubbles which disappear as I stand. To thaw my maw that generates nibbles. Cedar convoys, a pretty plastic dribbles. The hymn of waves huffing the spar I planned. Remit my cowlick with the pomp of heroes. Into the leer of a lap, a secular dude zeros. Angel aura with me. 26. In the gross pieces are the posh dice. Which cost us a stowaway, soon to roll. As pistons and breezes that gnaw the soul. That seek to make your thick sack nice. Clack mack, those gab rackers. Ghouls, almonds, doors and sauces. Freeze your aegis, massively sustaining losses. Eyes blaze, runners, affidavits and packers. The hindmost dryads fit for fiddlesticks. Deep into dust where a history jangles. The planetary hues that an agile drab mangles. With bleak mandates wherever a fawn sits. In the status of spices of a vacant land. The towering beach advent is a verve I planned. Angel Penelope with me. Darts. Darts hike the reins, their presence. Fetches a poor rest from your ails. To shelve you past another fence. With the stormy wandering snails. Their distant processes launch and lap. Teaching inspiration in a blog of rest. And a chilly good nap. Kicks off this irritated test. Assuming this, to isolated pillars, roam. For small windy permanences to bail. As the morning must pack for its home. Its own ache, drawn pale, angel thrikebot with me. 27. Call them hash browns, a nasty stack. With staff coffee, pleased by the days. I count the knolls, a rye flock stays. Fabulously wobbling as some new cop's snack. Musk pals are the first to flip. The mare doth hiccup, worst when wet. In a dolphin flop, a pint is gone yet. In necessary feldspar, an eating files my lip. For a vigorous foray of all half-debts. On my math pad, those tools subsist. Binary, the mat for a cold nap has been missed. In Coventry tan, shall we divide the sap? Let's. Nests and beans and seeds must define. That mask of the cores of shared skeletons 9. Angel Elaine with me. 28. The bleak chassis and muscular facsimile. Hath been poked to space your return. Pineapples, plows, gems and bibs turn. Not yet clammy enough, proving haggardly. 'Tis my rest to recapitulate a throb. Does the pen sag in peppy names? A wasteful blather that metasplat blames. Claps and clods, plus the sack you rob? Who, astute to master your hop? Through the past, alack, your dip down turf. Whimsical spelunkers stipulate the birth. Episode as it happens in huffiness to stop. By this grotto cuisine, in these soiree hats. I dismount the scales and practice my stats. Angel Elaine with me. 29. A remarkable stuff has to plod the soup. Touché, nanny, my pattern is lost. It is mighty misty, the fins and bites cost. My blithe plan a prickly pinned loop. I'm soapy secluded and my knowledge of brass. Of caramels, cobwebs, the skunk and the dice. In a foam gush drama will rush to be nice. Where feet belong guided by the dead I pass. With the hidden bliss of cobras and straws. A lounge chat has its good sweep away. With money tabs and the bout in the hallway. A fellow skews buns and blocks some claws. With the master strap, with a bit of clam. Mob Sally's buffer a spectacular lamb. Angel Bertha with me. Section 1. I feel clad. With my central heating pad. Sitting upon a floor. Home sediment and bush meals. I pause for almonds. My tasseled staff. Grass flack, the conceptual blob. The frozen pack of crab markers. Force me to drill for double staple. I have become just tossed. To ramp and dip with courtesy sloth. Near wiggles on track to nick. Sort of a sapphire. Noses at suppers. Main sailing piers and dabble dogs. Grasp sheets historically mugged. Maybe they are brilliant? Angel Aura T Ferredo with me. 30. A jagged mine is regulated by sunlight. For that pretty core of lasers wear staffs. Listen to my blab resonate griefs and laughs. A bit of brigade by the same mirth at night. Bright Jack the landscape fades. Nice scrambling nether, a baby pleads. A tad about the deal that is ram pop feeds. Sedimental tons run, hobbling for aids. The dusty supple dome is nearly no more than the caramel gel that a city dibs. In its wobble game such that I wham the lids. As lamps and figs have their own pretty core. Limes and beeches are a shaggy waggy few. Middle reparations of some kisses for you. Angel Elaine with me. 31. One call will voice throughout a day, drawn to a funeral to sense every mile. The self chatters more to have made it while to reason its loss has kept it happy the way. Questions forbid me to answer the self, dying to read, to know how this ship to thunder has turned. The sound of its lip that ends with water on a splendid built shelf subjected to all things. The testament scene completed by the money that notched the fall. An injuring storm made it innocent all. It's going to be dim pudding on the trees green. Yet, trees must fuzz, and where a league lies we evade vocabularies with a shine. Child, rise. Angel Elaine with me. 32. The almond toffee in the warm flask, a beacon of tact, of tapes and gems having drama to dare superb standing stems dragging out of holes a most vegetable task must start fecklessly for seats and doors bad-mouthing or winning some tip, the cocoa debut, slow to feed the lip pressing the dial, searching lids on floors, a globular dew, that capable pick, believing in the sapphire with a purpose to fuss for the bodily vibes of little bathers and us who hath a code written down in a pencil's nick for Newfoundland cod. I remember my pal by whose debuted power my mini lyre shall. Angel Kabbalah with me. 36. 'Tis my folly, ma'am, my poem I have bought with cigars and fish for my own vocal fam, dusty devices, lollipops, grasses and yam as a toddler wow at supper raptures a lot. Yarn my arm, remember orbs and matzah, some boring beef to bother all dragons in their lairs, foaming petting surface flagons, their favorite yell, then resume with pasta. Mittens thud since they are ruffled of late, and, thoroughly mittened, I'm able to stash these segments of an art coming hot and rash through reality's route while them snails wait for my vibration as the thin beam gems test out a fan with these bedroom pens. Angel Penelope with me. 37. Be healed by poetry whose stubble is grass, it can't clobber your hope word it clipped to be at home with a din that the far birds free in big shards with their frolicsome pass. There where the rabble sports is a poor plan, a video, mum, which again doth bear your mower's debut at a mart to pair in a mock rove to dig up some span of your knoll song that in lineage pleads, a parent too roars for that power to stand by the shaggy pots on the normal cove land, with a funny muddy coffee near sandy weeds. Be fast, and please, thy liberty is wan, write and dine as well on this worn out lawn. Angel Diana with me. 38. These morning tales have been hidden or lost. Check the tower for the one who knows. Reality is worshipped, its eternal suit goes on in its blank form to ends prized at any cost. For some blue days, I'll be at work a month and a day, poetically free, I say, with a multitude of thought and a world at bay wherein a scent of leaves roomy rhymes lurk. Our eyes are to the heavens that we call love, we have been writing or pecking, naming none, parting with the dust that glides down for fun like the sunset burn, or like a banished dove joining those shrinking who build the dew that centers me where a noise walks through. Angel Aura with me. 39. The sunlight will abide for a needed bright whose only length has its spirit to measure the soul growing lovelier by its pleasure, nature is its song, and a musical bird's delight. This vision has beauty where heaven is strong when the blissful air fills what more is here as if to life's hand my hands held dear eternally building for some innocent song. Swept up and saved is the tall green broom where a system shines together as one as day meeting no toil upon its own windy way, and faring well, leaves, to make me room, who chooses going while a tree's dark face yet moves in a line through this hourly place. Angel Elaine with me. 40. Their beautiful exit makes a beautiful path through a new note written down, I stare given my chance to conquer despair after watery storms filled the land, I hath still in a heavenly music playing all along a life to bring season from the rains that pass for baby apples to grow above the grass to come to be as vocal, I know this song is dear faces and, finally, a permanent home find themselves from afar beyond this lawn. It is that great for them whatever is going on when divided souls again together come. What certainty clears up brings out leaves where an expectation lies in a telling breeze. Angel Elaine with me. 41. There's a big hindrance about a fuss over bibs, my sapience odd too once I track the sun. Crops tremble and wobble under it for fun, their benefits stack, and a sand has the dibs, cessations of ebbs, yet the water's rest I like has been jammed in the shaggy rind of a lamp. I remember to wrest from it its well-lit stamp. Small wonders for its cup on the ground alike below sustaining feeble stars above my head, occult memories of once lost yesterdays speak of numbers hither within gabled arrays of the sky's mansion in its blooming shade bed. Goodness knows its laps had pressed down fading today who drops its own night's gown. Angel Ariel with me. 42. Craft brie rather than a nap. Lil Bunny, make your tidings of rest, satiate your bones beaming as the best, the beats, tools and shabby quips snap lip hooked with nothing else to plea. You laugh at the module with most divine hope, pressing the dower out to kneel down, nope, yet to put as in a coat some haste to tag me. I could call it succor, a tubby, brawny aid, a platter on my legs, pismires, bulbs and a pan, quizzes for a butterfly who through the ether ran to sit on a nest, a toll of cones I made. 'Twas ruffled up then when I knew to sob for the super tattler I would call Red Rob. Angel Aura with me. 43. This day admires us. What will fate have beautiful next that its own gleams someplace take up, through ages seems pleasures to possess with novelties this date that would form in sounds that matter greatly. The moon has taken us on its track of silver. The night's territory seems to lack more of the power to block gently what we dancers make up to filter with a love matter than any others. If I am blessed with such a music that to my body pressed your pleasant prettiness, it would prove us friends, and together we'll quest the clues hunted for now and rest that's back and soothes. Angel Diana with me. 45. This old night seemingly shined against what I dreamed in its fullness, it called me to its turbid time to suffer more gloom as stony years to climb would tower over days that far behind seemed. From the space into a wilderness, some thoughts would age, I went both feather-faced and open through the storm, I had a power to build against each temporal form, but with patience. And, at the wind upon its part angelic stage, I aimed against it all, went and became lost, and my adventure I saw had wandered too far. My spirits were gone as fair stars that are soon left in the dawn's light having almost cost me those barest companions who then cleared what had aired against the storm the weatherly wrongs it shared. Angel Elaine with me. 46. There was a noble way to do it with the mind, I owned some time with it, a paradise made, a golden truth put up, and then for its aid these visions old sights would have me find all deeply shaken as I before it was mild in a natural beauty which could not be ignored since this was my place turning, I was no more bored. Now that the freedom was faced in such sunlight piled, I found it again easily revised, then cried out to sing a song about it all, that by my trust I chose its heart, my reality, bearing more when those whose lives it provoked as its heir did wing the time away when I sang because I, like the sun, had made it to my paradise after night was done. Angel Ariel with me. 47. The monumental tripper is the right man, and what breeds explanation in the lost lay to an all-golden nation if in their bejeweled youths, baby fools can. The living king wanders for tea down beautiful Lethe and prime night, altered by a 12th, his voice is light, his belly is of peace, his starved tooth is free. Pursuing less, that pleases my soul at night's gate, I do know that door, I have found my lyre at its teen gate more, the dove, time, healed the wine that I did roll. Our dancing souls come to think that maybe a man is but a thought of a heavenly baby. Angel Bertha with me. 49. Will peace forever be in a jeweled space, a time of genius, or is it brutally too late, over in a wink, the successful climax great as a radiant water in a diamond-barred race? Is it cruel damnation or Eden granted again? Swift to paradise, to its victor's feast and favorite childhood mystical friends at least in a green opening, with no pepper pain. It depends on the tree, and you'll heavenly win ambrosia, the goal, and beautiful chimes, not obsessed with hell nor its prison times as when longing for a husband, but not the sin. Close calls for your virginity, safe is your pearl. Forgive me, sister, happy watering girl. Angel Donna with me. 50. Now Angel Jennifer, her actions show her just as Hamlet, playful in suspense, her mystery is little but pretense nor great interest for others. Will she go with heart and head when passion overrules her feigning madness, crying against those with whom she shares a stage? This feigning grows yet hotter so with passions till she cools in Lethe submerged that all her memories encountered from its drinking she would find almost by such forgettings of her mind which now to view this Jenny love she sees. But as an angel wasting not her time by drinking Lethe would such a wisdom chime. Angel Diana with me. 51. Strains the sail through the super blue below a distant sun in its blaze of sleep, a wholesome sight from the shore wrought steep, lives for sand where a few rocks drew the smithereens of my heart through its blistering light that push up my breast on dragonfly mead, and that reddening brine just to protest with weed a defeated dance of ideas that begin my fight. Come, I'll be rubbed if they pass out of life. Tell me in a minute, I am curious how I lost, myself hushful, to be standing so bossed by that same shriek, me, from the very strife on the far mountain as they are furious too much, how to pity they are sold who are not in touch. Angel Amy with me. 52. I enjoyed the beginning but ripped my sleeve. It made me mighty going up to the door. Deem it. I'm rushed out thither to the store. Take the gold, readst in peace or leave. Make it good, and a poem pull off, meekly say it all, don't dismally think to hold your thunder, God's close, a drink, folky farmer, dig and off the same court, one just to regard as a gift at the window to silence the light that sings for life, the day crowned bright, 3 lights eternally likened upon a yard. So readst in peace, dear folky farmer, and know'st that sound of my ripped off armor. Angel Ariel with me. 53. Lost among trees there are sweet young birds, a new dawn had been flooded with their cries. But with no way left, this sweetest morn dies it is late and I am lost in darker floats of words. Where trees are grown, the birds made sounds, and into the late I wandered my growing flood, and o'er its middle seas, a sunny sky stood apart great lands where gold thought abounds. And still the bright world of which I think I know must a doom break for that its gold will come, the world like the sun having drifted out home had a noon story to take from morning's flow dealing all a light, which was a warmer kind putting down the seed of its plot set mind. Angel Shay with me. 54. V upon V arrows the season's logic. Robert Penn Warren. The first light bulb is shining in the middle of a laboratory. There it is, and it is good. It will help hungry me to find my food throughout this place, and then like a fiddle, I'll go to my mate since I enjoy making love which is the law of an iron compensation but that for invention and for its explanation of light, let us look up to the sun to prove if writing in the dirt or the sand has been to figure out time like this perfect circle drawn of the artist's work which becometh the dawn of a new day's age for women and men. Into these wings we made of light and glass is a resurgence of the circle when we pass. Angel Elaine with me. 55. Pilgrim, shut me up in this cabinet here, I'm all caught up with the island's treasure. These are tales of my father's blessed pleasure, pardon my forthrightness and my errors clear. My comic errors, though excellent and good to learn from, strike me out at bat when there was gold of which I had it from the shipwreck as best I could. And, quickened by the treasure, I was wet like a bath water rising when I do get in, as a rainbow in the sky did win a blessing too as our discussions do get pleasures of friendship, pilgrim, excellent, and a music's quickest power to be relevant. Angel Teresa with me. 57. There are places where my thoughts are blent like flowers, with flowers. I walk through rooms. The snow outside chills, the bare trees, and I stagger, the consequences of which almost make me scream at myself, for in these places I have chilled as the lawn upon which my eyes now rest. I am now seated. And to send out this vital bleeding voice will be like walking, I know how it is done, a world on my mind, the snowy hearts who do not yet know what consequences their actions will have. And some goats in the snow and in my yard with bare trees, no sweet fruit to pick as Eve might have in her balmy Eden paradise. Sorry bleeding goats. Or some mixture of wine and water. There will be something to do about the logs after I cometh to, chilly from my walk. Angel Libby with me. 58. Watching the shipwreck with bad company, watching the walls of a prison cell. Giving wish to be fulfilled, it being misunderstood, giving flowers, jonquils, lost in them. Lost in the handkerchief my tears. My tears, I pray, for those of the wreck. My beguilement, me duped, the company bad, upset with my losses, and about a need to pray for those daughters, from this prison house. To pray for men to change at last, finally, not to be as sick, the sick bed filled with wet handkerchiefs. Changeless in the end, the lost, found. Ringing impatiently, spinning, waiting for their finding, watching from the the shipwreck with jonquils in my hands. Angel Teresa with me. 59. To Dante Alighieri, that we had crossed the Alps. William Wordsworth. Sleep's love sensitive to the morning rain, sensitive to the mother's understanding, the angel, looking backward at the journey where a democratic vista opens still with the sleepers conversing, all is love, love fulfilled mystically. The morning rain on the field misting its dewy grass where she sleeps. Angel Diana with me. 60. Alone and palely loitering. Keats. Lately this apprenticeship falls me to my hands, and I fall with it behind to be tossed like a minute hand upon a timepiece. My cold, stolen, storm-tossed, and beaten heart has but life its struggle set, and as my life is set, it is losing time, over me the which my victor is, and as the storm, the rotten Elsinore storm, tosses me thus from sliver to sliver, shading me over as if I was such a dancer to which my very falling behind might rewind, it was that river, downstream, upon which I drank my fill, none of it wasting, for which triumph in life make fever out of those burning out embers, sparks of my dance, my one and only dance which the storm is now extinguishing. Angel Marian with me. 61. As even thou canst not rid thee of thyself, I shall do it for thee. As these art the words that pirate, time, swears, so ye play thyself dirty, so dirty, to get thee thy revenge, for even in that thou wouldst be found even so by those darkening errors of thy faithful cross upon his very own person, whereby in that, in fury thou art beaten by him, then this is what it is like for thee to be natal again like me, because being here we must, being beaten to here by him, champ time beats thee, beats me, beats us thoroughly into dust. Angel Aura with me. 62. Blooming upright lilac flower, I do beg your one more power help my back, and set for me, from that ebb, may it still be your sidelong loss may really yet resurrect in sense what I can't get, to say what I cannot in rhyme. A jar of boldness has my time, has been within this cradled tide wherein its failure, sighs abide, and in such distrust and despair, throughout the air, whens in it there, the archons play, those would-be furies, would they gain less without their hurries finding out this favorite bloom being withered on a lovesick broom. Angel Honey with me. 63. While at the rock, I listen to women. They whisper, I drool, a stunned listener. That's a strobe over lush Thebes, and I remember my bed, and its buttery gleam. So I wait for love on my momentary knees. The witty noses are weary to the taste, and my whim is done, 'twas in the clover by the windy tower where I pet a rat. And, I need to be in shape to hulk these tasks. Who's at the lobby to whiff and wipe with puppy midgets dotting an edifice? What do my toes say in this pink line? They say wow it is thoth. And pouty shells have answers to the jonquils, yep in the lease. Angel Amy with me. 64. It was the first time the baby sang, and as his voice diminished, fading away, the child's music made me think of sickness, how an illness fades away after the flames of a fever that comes to maids and men. No way just yet to know, but I miss those better days from my so limbo state. When signals of encouragement point to love as the only law over all my sweet days, mystical is all charity. How too, when this babe doth fade into a man, how a paradise is lost without a plan without which the best times will be forgotten, rivers of tears which will not be sought. Angel Ora T. Ferredo with me. 65. Too far to tell that in my prized hand, oh reading, dying, compassionate King, mighty certain feathers and weathers bring no light matter to number paths planned. From then on aim the leaves of selfish sights that play to your genius for a truth unsaid, leaving doubts in long literatures as dead by a few lines just of stars and nights dimming the home by their steep creep, an answer to evils, to specify as cash that they are true to shine, free not to be rash to affect the poem's forgotten leap to be seen in an empty abyss when I compare how life and lands and thrush once were fair. Angel ora ti ferredo with me. 66. Upon the fleshy self and by light so soft the sunset has a masterpiece, and its prevalent path leaves me with true hopes of which I hath only to state that this day will solve them oft, whose form has introduced boundless love, and its wise way is made out to hearsay against a weathering land that will find no grey as in thought if looked upon its beauty thereof. I know these things, and the port of the wind through a space mistaken once to be rotten, now hearkened, expressions tower unforgotten the few upon which my human joys have pinned, upon which their approach, a future vision frees a plan to wander bright as grasses and trees. Angel Bertha with me. 68. The horse split the promising dust. One became jealous of the dark congregation. A time for noise, the unnecessary hail, circles of breasts of revolutionary ghosts. Bitter is the ham. It is a boundless plenty that was caught by the alien star god. Angel Diana with me. 69. Through the calendar, death had its great throw. I wrestled to the top of the good fire that liberty had lit with my bed lyre that Caesar be taken by the song I blow. My hair is forsaken in my gypsy band, and where worms rest I gather cauliflower. New beasts will have their demonic power with sweetness slaughtered. What pigs understand? What others taste, I trust you are here. Night flicked another javelin to duck. In a prayer I tested my own golden luck for more or wherever I offered to steer, to witness your laughter, over that joy to brood a bleak soldier who by your remembrance stood. Angel Bertha with me. 70. I noticed the bull this sly morning, a sunny conflagration to control our day, the hovering red and flawed face coated with distress, woe to the stars. The glory of Egypt at an arm's expanse, those tabernacle stars beaten by truth whose absurd blindness abides every year by the mind's pact to fall for miracle. You're first to risk it all for a merry spasm, and the earth ceases to appear as natural. Now to anonymous places tunes the wind darting, going with anonymous information. Harmlessly resting are the chief babes promised extravagance march of snapdragons. Angel Shay with me. 71. With a boundless strategy, the savage I bless, my fatherly glance is at his false cross, I am farther out, and my very first loss was being born in doubt. It's a law, I guess. Among trees middling, I'm born to believe endlessly agreeing what is red or grey that God writes is his in his husbandry of day, peacefully fiddling, is not killed, but I grieve to remember these nights I have dreamt within where one cloud had a fit, to wrangle solitude, a human being, not to animals rude, my loyalty is split if such distinction is sin. Forsaken askance, a laughable sentiment is pulled off. Apogee, a rainbow is the monument, Angel Thrikebot with me. 72. Sonnet to the sunset. Always is its enemy, a slave of night warbles to death within a useless smoke. And, lifeless a man returns again to poke what children encircled around a camp with light. Many a full day must conclude in sleep, a grain to move, a mountain to memorize, to write a pattern out offered to eyes whose accurate split pulls off the leap into a cup to burnish, so kiss the glass, duped by the radiance, its melting shrine, sunny habiliments strike a shine and let go for progress, its paradise pass to organize destruction and climb up to chime for a brilliant true God to have a future a time. Angel Elaine with me. 73. Lay me on a hemisphere of seas wherever there are open waves, please. Bear me over that watery earth but not with guilt of my own birth. There learn me forever finding not to sever how my choices have turned out which have not yet burned out, even though the wet will cut a candlelight from shining still, if in your shine my own shine will continue until you know what. Angel Amy with me. 74. A Tobot Night Sweep, Thursday, April 6, 2023. I pray for Lincoln that he will return from the darkness into which he has been orphaned from the light. Jesus is free, an intellectual coming back some think as Lincoln one day. Pray I that no books are burned any more in the eyes of others by Autobots. For books are prayers. But let them be fireproof, not hell-bound. The Nazis would have burned a cross with either Lincoln or Jesus upon it. They are telling times where light has dimmed our freedom to read. Pray I for the illiterate to find a way out of the story that is hell. Angel Yaffa with me. 75. Even when more delights fail to please, and a flood of wine is to be yawned at, and home is gone into the past forever, to care for sinking becomes key, the breaking off into a state of loss, and the voice a mere instrument no longer playable, and even if it was, the once triumphant monumental music it had would be no more like the presence of God who to so many is gone, gone with hopes of paradise, with difficulty left to care only for those who are further back, gone into a great madness. Great is the wound that causes them to shun clothing and starve. Pain has its dusty dealings, the very thing that we need renounce. Angel Kelly with me. 77. Consider the wickedness of being sore. Your place in the neighborhood, vain heart, never satisfied with an angry people whose warm words pour fear out of those words which would oppress heaven itself that dreams of the earth. Its spiritual multitude rests in the wind, proud of not being sad anymore over that power life hands them. When I forget because I have been asleep, how hearts join to hearts without hatred during better days, then my joys which were once endangered are now left within the hands of those free to fall who have wings. Their voices know the way home, its wise conclusion faster to the heavens, the ancient evening, the sending out of manners drawing coverture over the parts of stuff which have changed one for another into matter by following wise words. Tomorrow too will be short departing from its charging thoughts, a horse of quickness indeed, and the answer to today's simplicities. To come to hear as it comes from the strength of nature to cover my love with its own by charitably forgiving me. To devise just some justice for a heart to love, to taste an answer to my prayer's words, and by that particular change, to dare to be sensible about loving the noble lights of another day. Angel Grouchy with me. 78. Spiritual golf, the heaven. Where offices are, bosses are, and CEOs are. And, this is fun here, so the CEOs are far away from here. But if they show up, as gods, Angel Aura knows exactly what to do, which is to play spiritual golf against bosses who are authorities. For bosses are the storms of the earth, they are copies, and copies of copies, and these little nothings which come before which an origin had presented. Such events are nonetheless not the same as this light of this good day. Start with an angel, Angel Aura, and she's from God himself, but is also a dear wife of mine, and hers is a spiritual golf against all semi-poems that would seek to make copies out of her blessed originality. Angel Aura with me. 79. Head Buttriccia, the heaven. The screens and their noises, greeds of con men who sold my stolen art back on earth. That was when the men killed me, or they thought that they did, but Hashem, God of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob rescued me. The planet Head Buttriccia looks identical to Earth, except it is a heaven. Jesus moved out, he kept my new apartment, his old apartment, identical to my earthly one. Angel Aura Tifaredo has a fresh start against those who would make copies of her and her action by theoretical contemplations. I am a reader, but screens are bad technologies compared to a single book. The light within of a Head Buttrician ghost angel who was murdered in the Earth Holocaust as a child, I would meet each one, ghost after ghost, each a child, now of any age, from the Holocaust murdered, and Head Buttriccia, the heavenly planet where each live angelically now, as I went there too, to read to each ghost, be a friend to each ghost, with each angel of mine, and teach reading since the earth autobots of screens, theories, technologies do all that they can to stop or to distract a reader from reading from a book. Angel Aura Tifaredo with me. 80. Spiritual golf, the heaven, 2. The waves come, call them greeds. The waves play against Marbah, the angel, a game of spiritual golf. There are other games, sure, but spiritual golf is a heaven. Only CEOs who are the waves, and an angel like Marbah know how to play. Winning is what Marbah does, and the CEOs are sore losers who think that they can win but they cannot. Marbah will agree to stop bugging CEOs for charity money if they can win, which they think that they can, but they cannot. Therefore, CEOs pay the price for not winning, as Marbah always shoots a hole in one every time she hits the invisible ball over the ocean side. Hole in one. Again. Angel Marbah with me. 81. Spiritual golf, a heaven, 3. The water trap. Where there are CEOs, there are struggles, and whenever a reader is kept away from her book, autobots dominate. And, autobots keep a reader distracted until Angel Aura Tifaredo breaks through these melancholic times in order to shoot a lowest spiritual golf score, which wins against CEOs whose scores reflect higher numbers of shots. Aura Tifaredo is the very light within, and spiritual golf is played in invisibility. Light upsets conmen playboy warlords. And, there is our music too in the light which is in the water, in each water molecule which stops crime waves. Water, which is best, is opposed to waves of crime, waves which reach out for distant shores from the origin. Light. Shakespeare goes up against these melancholic times too, and against the non-Homeric CEOs of these times of cell phones which would be prey to autobots if not for the brilliance of Angel Aura Tifaredo and her hydromancy. Angel Aura Tifaredo with me. 82. To travel like the Trojans under the sun of another planet, becoming sandier with every step, no end to the charge into which steps become griefs and unpleasures. To find hope a little in the land that through its wilderness might be burnt into the mind hovering a waiting firmament that hovers in sight. The eyes on the land worry that for which worry is worthy, that, by worrying, the preparations be made for what is to come of that choice to weary themselves with the objects in this world. Angel Threichbot with me. 83. On its soft walk, light departs like the memory of a friend whose carved name chills a wintry tomb. On my own walk, the idle motion of the sea pensively moves into the night of its own clear memories. On its floating walk, the seaside air gathers the stormy season like snowy violets reused in newer places for airy presences. The idleness of nothingness falls over water like leaves dropping from the tree in cycles, and the partially seen owl upon the lawn wastes nothing since for light renews as knows the creature like a friendship that knows where to find another's hands in the dark. Angel Amy with me. 84. Wind these barriers going from green to white, a main sight must be rushed thereabouts blue with the parents of time, and icy arrows too. The brassy grey shadows of an answer to light build a glory and have that glory revealed. Days whip us with many sensations banal if a year shadows its silver fire foul our wisdom is left a rum on an air to be sealed. Wind hymns often live by rocking behind the daffodils who are kings who anger no sight lost in circles, neither a Monday dealer fight worldwide willing to spin within the wind. What patience has owed was to work the last of the head's wars, and a mind talking too fast. Angel Tov Shalom with me. 85. The mime tots are snug at last, the pack withers and grubby bonnets, wattled pebbles and red cracked sonnets of a liminal sun have mottled my past. And, I know white is brought to the helm in a haste of stillness with a knack for lute for a custard, a quid, in a bath to flip a boot, of these coming tones, 'tis my rhyme and realm we had approved as masterly and with mice with vermilion socks down a woman's path, talk about a ruckus, a wondrous shift hath a time when time begins to keep forever nice. And, rambling thin, I must pick my plunder where feeble sags and nuptial fans stand thunder. Angel Grouchy with me. 86. Here come the people. Absolutely. Yes. They walk upon the field over there, and they touch the field with hands. They care. Then the lawyers come, disrobe, undress leaving their legal briefs upon the grassy lot. These are the days yes. 2 doves fall in rings, and touch the field with their feeling wings. Alas, pigeons are also here. Look, they've got wooden twigs in their beaks, for nest building. The lawyers are gone now. But there is a home, it appears out of the blue, on its broken dome the 2 doves fly now guiding. Shift to some bathers speaking to each other in the water. Now children come with goats. The house crumbles to dust a little like oats. A woman with a child emerges, a mother holding it tightly to her body in the light. Now a bull has appeared, and its face is covered with flowers. And, finally in place they all bring out the statue of Moses at night. He is holding a torch of fire in the air which lights the way to his statue there. Angel Yaffa with me. 87. Sonnet to the sun, and narcissism we stars in our good pride ride infinite streets, all praise our bright clothes, each wall of light shines upon our birthdays each day and night, and we keenest thinkers with amazing feats succeed in falling since the sky is our river which seeks nothing else but to fill its air with a boundless vastness all around up there up to its sad parts where I became a light giver, where I drive my horses from my runcible car into currents and rocks looking finer by coins to wage a peace from my heart to my loins. Thus in this gentle reflection is where we are who look beautifully human, yet we are still to draw every day past beyond its starlit hill. Angel Honey with me. 88. The seasonal clouds silver heads of hair drape 100 painters who paint and stare, and that strange alien father time holds Eve's hand while the hours chime. Ding dong ding dong. Next Helen the Greek follows Alex the Great both trailed by a strong man who comes late. He carries a heart-shaped box in his hands, and what a hostile philosopher misunderstands, sing song is why some dreamy and sleep-floating swan is not with other birds at rest on the lawn. People in peril from their days and works while someone bearing a sphere too close by lurks. Linger long. Angel Kelly and Alfred with me. 89. I wanted to take action early before I got weak. My mouth in time had sucked me down, it had been growing wider than the ground, I held that my only salvation was but to speak. Yet I have said all that I have had to say about this opening grossly mounting, lips like flapping ducks I had been counting in the honey-sweet opening the same day. It was a bothersome find, its has-been light reflecting the same yellow my mind had felt to learn Euripides' tragedy, now if I could melt alone in laminations with the stars at night. And so amazed that my wish came true, my body's fighting, upward pushing to you. Angel Amy with me. 90. I wrote the letter, but afterwards I thought to have a whim to tear it to shreds like a dandelion blown in the wind it sheds. I wrote my trusty truce that served for aught. This day was clear, and restful humane but my letter was a parcel I did not tear, And with wonky cleverness did I then bear some trust as best as if I had now lain within the tired interest of my weary wonder, slow to excite this sluggish affection. I rested these wings in whole rejection of my once human life that seemed to blunder the mirth of my friends, those others with joy and jovial sweetness did validate each other in a growth of forests as sister and brother happily pondering each newly shared toy of those wind-blown flowers, and the bird chat of the sunny springtime where they were at. Angel aura with me. 91. Upon a red world the objects glow, upon a blue world the busy slow. And, a man appears with a light on his head, a figure 8 is drawn on the earth ahead. A sundial and then a school of fish give daughters of darkness what they wish. That wise and guilty spark makes its shine within the dark while the man into his garments sinks one of the inner man the outer thinks. And an angel with a material gift up to the stars will his nihilist lift. The kind historian begins to fly as a king of the universe descends on high. Angel Jaffa with me. 92. It was very long ago that I was kneeling because this scaffold was not yet dug up. My dare to be seen here was by reeling even as a dandy of myself might plug up, so by the treatment I could shed light fast about because of avid matters. And this did smack of some stew tonight and so another mash scatters. Where mittens soon themselves grasp a dearth of love might doff itself, and such the ground these giddy toes clasp. Alack, it is a very long dark shelf. Angel Elaine with me. 94. Hours will be gained by no final news, behind life there is forever peace. Pretty swan, I bow to you my ease, you will get to say there's nothing still to lose of these many dark colors. Is it a stage? Sure, there are woods that go uphill forever with the power to do what? I feel it's clever giving all hearts hope by the splendid equipage of a happy birth of the shade a sun won't touch or this fools us if our peace is not there which lives to wander when our good sounds air, don't worry if you're late, okay? Still triumph much until eternity like in the first sunrise you saw, my friend, as wide love evermore is for to awe. Angel Elaine with me. 95. I was upon the island's tropic plot, and had what you call the best of paradise, and had a head strain which felt not wise, but that stage for a poet, I had not. You could call it then my human heaven, myself had shown how itself leaves, it is double much the being away that grieves revealing benedictions that once were given. It is that there were stressful mountains that I climbed, a selfish traveler, there was a white bus, a Lethean unraveler of the bones of the day's forgettings fountains that reveal how like a fox in the leaves all goes a celestial moth that itself in the flame throws. Angel honey with me. 96. Reversal has a face, a plot, that is good, is so very much in place, that too is that which would. M-O-A-T, is not wrong, already as yet it is, much a lovely song, built is its bliss. Therefore, you know it, love has a pretty ring, the article which must fit a community that will sing. For that will be forever, themselves already odd, not for sound only, nor for never, but because we are with God, they that for angels make are willing the beauty, the best that we can take, to give all as a duty. M-O-A-T, is the wonder nor will it get an end because even it has thunder for they who will mend. And are so beautifully set, bringing is but the trick you had once to get to better heal from sick. Heaven, yes, that's right, but there is the way you have a new light that can become as day. From going onwards out heaven yes has to be what affords against your doubt now to have all beauty. And who is there I love always to be understood as love for them must prove them worthiest of all good. From your going together heavenly gets the win of neighbors and the weather for what is found within. For what is found without as they themselves are great and angels, they are, no doubt as Shay, my angel mate. Angel Elaine with me. 97. This optimism that drives me is on time historically, the very good of things I see dash that way gets again free. A powerful teaching starts noiseless as my reading is going a way of ending smarts through and through showing. How it might less sound since what is ever to shine not as something found that was better left for thine. That I knowing I would get demanding dreamy heaven's place, for that my own placement therein set with those I now could face. The sirens call and sailors who float by, the sirens have them all on seas caught by their songs on high. Angel Jaffa with me. 98. If you cannot be able to drop down the rabbit hole, I don't want you to fight you for brave ventilation like a mole. Everybody saw his head spinning, so why art thou mad? I want you to choose to winning though bees don't have to sweeten, lad. I know it is supposed to be delivered, so top them. My brain expects it to be so. I know you cannot stop them from bastardizing their children, oh. You can't fix it for them, but you can live. You're not Meshuggah, no, and they are not talkative in a way your body knows it is so. You are to have access to the right foot, drunk and bold or innocent, you, by boot. Angel grouchy with me. 99. Ghastly? No. May it suffice that I will chart the waters with my course. Be that done, a moment touched, I hum high upon my times there, never to be without them meaning to be sorely had. Yet though tonight I have wound up fine, I will help thee now to blaze however you can. Ah, to forget your own liking of a beauty. 'Twas nothing the ghost could do. True, I cannot have teased out an answer, and that differs than the would-be meanings as hope from despair. To take thy pleasure now upon mine own, and to be done. Angel Donna with me. 100. Those who strive for ways to befriend are already better forever, about striving for that without end, it seems pointless never. Does what fills the day not only cause the night to seem in an extended way fruitless by lessening its light? O night, I would that you we might forever charm, it does not yet find care. It thinks if thinking is its harm so far within our sleep, needs it no action there. Angel Ariel with me. 101. Yes. I have made myself valiant, a valiant man indeed, I am not a ghost, but a man going onward through life's stages, so satisfied with poems and their meanings, for once a poem is understood, you are not a ghost anymore, the flowers coming out from a transparence, happy, calm, from the beginning of a poem. These quiet places in the night's darkness where I have made my very own for life, for the meanings from the shining stars limitless, nights too short to count them all. And, by the canyon, its bowers and the flowers discreet, which were invisible a month ago when they were only seeds, now angel broad as her who has liberated me unto perfection this summer, running off of the bus, valiant as the forest pines around me, coming here with my pranks and napping, well fed, satisfied, lucky to be alive going down, descending through the canyon, a childlike, sometimes baby-like man needing to be covered by night's blanket, stopping in its goodness for quieter thoughts. Angel Bertha with me. 102. Muhammad's Quran is an ancient cold text, and now it is the wind that blows these puzzle pieces off my table. Oh well, they did not fit anyway, like Adam and Eve banished from Eden by God, like God banished from earth by people, or so they might, but I'm no revolutionary. Content, here in a spiritual heaven, in true love constant and ongoing faith, this one idea that I have always sought, now disconnected, but right on time, summoned up to answer it all finally as even I do not know what I am doing. And, inverted more and more and more, sincerely as common as the dust, the wind blowing its well-formed formula over this same day, where I, illiterate, as Jacob wrestling the anonymous here by the pines, before the modern age, on judgment day which is doomsday. Angel Jaffa with me. 103. In my prison cell, thinking utopia, a victim of the time, banished from my Eden, utopian striving, I with salty tears weep, and I sweep the floor. The key is lost. The key is lost in the dust, that is what I'm looking for. A future searching for, such a dunce, slowed as a traveler upon the vast level sands of a desert, or at the icy frozen pond side, waiting until the flow is at liberty to melt. Poor being is what I hate, so I sleep, and in sleep I dream, and my dreams are angry, critical, negative about all of my capabilities once great but normal now. And, about it all, society included, I rant, and my utilitarian ways have been the prey of autobots, those lonely and unhappy people who keep me back from reading my best. Angel Donna with me. 104. Cloud of fire, cloud of speech, silent your bad conversations. Fancy being sold out, with silence met, the fire flicking out, flickering away, focused on making trouble and din always, and, the ocean waste, its sad idleness of pleasures restored of a new kind, the clowning foolish disorderly clouds, full of sound waves and furious foam, release me from my cell, having prepared myself for my new journey ahead and above, sweeping through night as if partying drunk, cloudy waves of bad verses, my own voice as if it was itself dead, though giving everybody what they desire, boisterous moving, and speaking long lengthy, having forgotten it all, at peaceful lethe, submitting like an idiot, happy to rest, or going to sex, or to be stolen away, the day robbing me of my presence, cleaning up house, love, my disorder, my conversations with those I know to know, in sincerity of our own fiery time. Angel Ariel with me. 105. A hope, vivid gratitude for a day at dawn, continuing from yesterday, experiencing the angelic goodness of M.O.A.T. Happiness, love and freedom with the crowd at the spiral, tourists in a crowd, their focus and direct skill aware of M.O.A.T. The drive from home to the countryside, a vivid gratitude for the day at dawn, the rest after such a day is done like the rest of engineers waiting prepared for inspectors to inspect M.O.A.T. for flaws. The success of making the deadline, The crowd of people in awe and wonder at the almost alien countryside whereon M.O.A.T. had been called to action for charity's sake. All happening as it should, in synchronization at the natural spot where M.O.A.T. occurs. Life and goodness perfecting, seeing this vision realized, excited about the spiral of memories cherished and relived of M.O.A.T. Angel Donna with me. 106. There was a cloud sensitive found free as the wind and not bound, its wealth and its treasures were safe by all measures since heaven's less reached than the ground. So never again would it cry, and never again would it try just for a short time to higher up climb since plenty of rooms in the sky. Angel Donna with me. 107. Know thyself. The ecstatic dance happens after shaking your hand, for there was a stillness at work because I had been reading well, and as I re-adst in peace, I did not suspend my belief this time. The visible order of the world and the cosmic order of the mind were of love, so neighbor get this, here I give to you my hand again. There once was an Eden, in it a happiness, and nature looks different now than back then, but the mother is happy. Nothing to excess. This winter the vapors of words, as Hamlet used to say, brought me out. And, now that the real me, the me myself is known, it is high time to fall in love, say, on a balcony. In such an escape I might articulate and research those words that still I read. For, neighbor, it is not our task to sing where no song needs to be risked, when destiny will come not to complete nor to desist us from this our game our prize. Surety brings ruin, gamma gamma alpha pi rho alpha delta apostrophe tau alpha sweet smelling reader shaking my hand, singing me into ecstasy of a lovely dance, upon this wintry temple of a self, and like a goat upon the top of a mountain, asleep, wholly in its holy place happy, above all else, worshipping all that's heavenly, figuring out the password fought for so long, reading it aloud by chance, making no continuous errors, making no concurrent errors, stochastically knowing an answer's possible, referring to the speed of light from your light cone and sacred texts in hand, and still not in suspense because the world and the mind know each other well enough only but in a random traditional hello. Angel Aura with me. 108. I am wandering hungry on the ocean, and every fish is a little hobgoblin so I won't eat them. I am no one. Just recently I went under disguise as someone, but I was discovered, and I left, and I am here now upon the boundless main in my underwear. The breakers also have no names, maybe I was once a knight before my travails, but that too has been forgotten. My own family divides into two camps, those who love and those who hate me. Those who love me are searching for me still, though I do not even know where I am, and those who hate me, for that must be my name, the odious one, they are gone, yet they will return one day, both camps, and then my decades-long journey will end, at least that's what I've been told. It is cold, and the angry waves are beating me up. Angel Jaffa with me. 109. There are strings and strings of solutions, so a bow must be strung with every color. Angels are everywhere. They all of them get my praise. And, in my bathtub, I have figured it all out, something in my memory comes back to life like a statue, and I can get it all cleaned up of that ambition I once had that made others mad, now displaced by another distinction, distinct as the color yellow from purple, amor fati, to make what the energy will yield, and from that power within me, eureka, put to use are the laws governing the colorful contract, and I might be able with my money in the pot to give it all away to have something good to say in a good story once more stringing it all together to make a rainbow. Angel Amy with me. 110. Goodness wins and we transcend the goodness found on earth whose highest purpose is its worth being on the side of good in the end. Spiritual golf is a heaven. Angels with holes in one every time with victory always chime, they score a 7 and 11. Their health is normal too which shows how goodness wins, important now that heaven pins this ease down that is true. Hope's vacuum cleaner is heaven's golf club, a prop and not just for a carpet to rub. Angel Thrikebot, Hope, with me. 111. Miserable me in this modern architecture, in the thinking which wants to be golden, and for one of that which I cannot have, numbers, relations, ratios, variables settle, and my ignorance here between these walls makes misery for my anxious spotted brain. I fight the horror experimentally again. The anxiety of any stormy day, my sinful gravity, gloom and warring, the ratios, proportional to my everlasting bad, a sincerity of being as literal as I can get away with, politically a monster of light and awful colors, thinking that thinking, only thinking, can make me indeed what I am, literally, a man as sincere as the seriousness of the hellish gold for which I would mold my thoughts' desires through a tragedy of this once perceptive life, within its once unborn modern housing. Angel Elaine with me. 112. The doors poke up of the morning dawn, the reasons because useful night has gone, its message was given, now brighter is heaven whose light walks about on the lawn. A key of light opens these doors, like seed stems rising from floors, beams spreading out will conquer my doubt which through my own clouded mind pours. Angel Jaffa with me. 113. The skies wait empty of me for me to interpret if that is death. With warming song, sing lonely sun. Dawn light rests high atop the forest trees. High up dances a leaf through the sky, and nothing now droops under the sun, and nothing darkens by this my wintry business for there is nothing else to do but wait. Angel Donna with me. 114. Sweep the floor, purring wave a deluge splitting melancholic salt modicum courtesan, or a people halt by the hurricane's bark, a garrison grave. After severe perambulation, pray, rev up, dawning mort, wind rapier sore, puck dies for another poetic encore in temperature, nat, please, a port, a cup. Groan Salvatore, the data is twain, Aurora Sentinel, Furioso Mount, the saintly warm violet Corazon Fount Hops Rouge, Triumphate, Providence Lane. Requests abysmal, the Boreas Rue, the practical feast that blanched maps show. Angel Donna with me. 115. There is a quiet calm in the hallway, the dark minutes are taken for comfort. In a pleasant providing of forced sleep, the garden outside shelters peace. The eyes in the room are shutting under a green blanket and sheets. The disguise of silence, by help, doffed, the beginning of airy dreams, down the hallway the night continues, revealed in a darkness luxurious, on the comfortable bed, impatient as rest, and asleep against the forces of the world. Its symbolic time for repose and renewal is hidden in the whirlwind of talk, revealed in the trappings of softness. Angel Teresa with me. 116. You took your acquaintance to end within you. Of obsequies unknown, you're daily afraid, if this is the field, each taste was made of solitude a fortune as trod as true. For its glistening reward has brought me to the wall, Hashem's heaven will not sadden another time, finally angeled, above death to climb no farther revenged, the good will all. Clubbed be my anger, I remember home where I drunk liberty now sullen elsewhere making sunder of the starry numbed air for its needed shield colored, a reddening dome. Who will become wiser has by poison won if what was so cumbersome has nothing still done. Angel Elaine with me. 118. The moon has fixed to heaven's night creating sounds of howls, removed from daytime's light finds worth, steps out with owls. The moon has the most pleasant eye like those who counsel people great, and with a vision of horizons high commands darkness to wait. Angel Amy with me. 119. As nature has received a permit to be wild discovered even as she sleeps, she overtakes the spirits of a people mild to place their fewer graces to her steeps. Still nature forces us out of her void, yet could not be more pleasant to our sight save heaven's harbor, and for that annoyed is more severe of its not secret light. Angel honey with me. 120. Happiness guards many from crying. It has angelic wings, and knows teenagers are trying for it, who for them sings. Teenagers hope for its kind eye, they would catch some of its rain, and consider action of that sky which thanks them for their pain. A pain that falls instead of light, whose voice their ears will lightly miss, which makes them richer since they fight to cease the sadness of abyss. A sadness few against must play which hardens till it flies away. Angel Ariel with me. 121. The holly has cajoling heat, it brims a cow around its neck. It baffles nurses, those I meet, yet scales the laggings of a deck. I make to gather this holly whittling lollipop Saturday, I whittle all each neck away because today I'm back jolly. And, some rum rests in the room which bobs my head and hand. There is no direness as the land which is the place whereon I loom. These holly tidings then ensue, they dot the railings of each pew. Angel Aura with me. 122. I want to be a sculptor of things at rest, and on another land that dwells upon the margins of all I know today, I wish to bring the ancient beauty out of the sun into the breathings of the weather, drinking it all up as if it were a holiday having its day, and, over hills where my carefree journeys had me once there, and by country ways, what I know is that there, where some tree must go, and silver waters which surely must be a sign that I belong here, they are my home and hue, and this knowledge is heaped up and down. But it still can be tested with question after celestial question in their better aim to please me more upon a mountain's frame and perfect the now in its own silence. Angel Aura with me. 123. Forward day, nothing breaks your duty, the dinosaur dam and the salt fire, yes, the parcels are tales that kind of inspire the grave soul to intimate its beauty. A tragic future in a Zohar night yet with bread happy and your warm chop, outside music, this world, an American drop a slow hand and the most with a last bite. The poor in war, the inwit here smart to write all and cut it from seeing the birth that flings like dust your years on the earth, to weep when separating, your walk-off heart. The shepherd stops, a weak space for Ruth to the standard tower with her pound of truth. Angel Aura with me. 124. Hanging on wishes, note an end. Long answers a dependable love to thee, the proof you care, you're brought to see a bonfire rain, leagues of vocabularies mend. Mars moves to spot every syllable's form, crossing ages out of a silent room. Trust money and the moon pen loom and imagination wanders to tame the storm. Mean loins are free from aches bending, and a soul far away from a high verse has its season of truth plucked a little worse, yet miracles outside make the wild ending. Good humans in their own divine fit and a young babe in its self-bliss sit. Angel Donna with me. 125. Daring for the power, this is a drill. A winged king to silence is passing his received defense of sleep. Their massing is put in a poem's graceful surety still. I stand in the crowd, ladies cap their wished for policy of equivocation old of thoughts plentiful, a human health bold, my turn to awe, by barefoot best tap. Hope is always better, I'm a strange fan of the elf who creeped who is falsely ill. The waves and the fowl, a wire of beauty fill a lovely home, the forbidden placed man has a bard's justice, called for this sight to trust the verse of childlike matters, right? Angel Aura with me. 126. This is my chamomile, and I thought of dirt, and some more sunshine, and happy for that glory, for it is bound to be serene, I return to the world, when its prettiness is allowed next winged, as for those good old days coaching me on. This could be taken for weeping, and so I played for the answer, and a peaceful bush called to its song, for it is coming to the exit too when at the forgotten cave, or when at school forever, as for a catch of the pleasure again once more, I wander out of the light held under the night, and I left before paying it back, lost in its whisper while this stormy month, so poorly wholesome must my memory yield its acres heaven their fill. Angel Donna with me. 127. That honor gain a grave a day, commander one is elected fit, another afternoon to Mary read it, bell images over a next hate way. The happy vision it, insight bones, a testament alive to amp up the flower, tower strength by the scurvy nick power, a hardback create forever soaring stones. Hand us sublime this delusive art, the offer is dance to envision it all with the right to educate a super ice fall, the forgotten vacationing thunder to mart. Thoughts circuit the erected evening pit blue, bookworm gorgon this honor gain new. Angel Elaine with me. 128. When following Talmud, float for love. Heights unfold a vision still, whispered prayers lower past will be what lips say, sing or speak of. The nightly bliss upon a grey height not in vanity said by a man of brass stops to place English thoughts and pass a rough law incompatible without life's light. Of a negative page, a complete mistake, conferences of love will not rush for song which, tossed out of hell and its central end wrong, alone with nothing, men dig up to stake all on their pillows for the billowed white ball which rises to view a moving that no knowledge will stall. Angel Libby with me. 129. A bridge of blossoms, these brotherly days dependably lock the rising breath flowing in the wind of a mirror of death whose sight tells a sad dancer's its ways. Taken off the street, I wrestled a page that's only immortal, and my middle headache has placed a hunger for a cool life not to make scratch up or down an excessive storm rage. So blessing everything, a cowardly smile and bright cycles must see what ails dash a westward smirk, starlit goblins of gales spoken on the stairs with care, meanwhile remembrance of roots have cabinets there of animals, crocodiles calm in oars of air. Angel Amy with me. Finis.